Good afternoon, everyone. So I guess we were discussing the landslides. So out of all this general causes, what will be the specific causes for the landslides in the Himalayas? That is, what is the distinction between the causes of landslides in the Himalayas and the landslides in the Western Ghats? Or why Himalayas are more prone to landslides as compared to the Western Ghats? 2016 का क्वेश्चन क्या है? Explain why Himalayas are more prone to landslides as compared to the Western Ghats. So that means you should know what are the different causes for the landslides in the Himalayas and also in the Western Ghats. That is one of the main causes. That is. So can I say one of the first causes is isostatic inequilibrium? Even today, these are young fold mountains, they are continuously rising, and therefore this region is prone to earthquakes, and therefore earthquakes hoga, so there will be landslides. But we'll write it in a proper language. So one of the first cause for the landslide is in the Himalayas is Himalayas are young fold mountains. Himalayas are young fold mountains. Himalayas are young fold mountains. And as a result, they are tectonically active. Tectonically active. Tectonically active. This region is a very high risk zone. This region is a very high risk zone. Answer general hai, but you do not have to write a general answer. So you are giving more information here. This region is a very high risk zone. In the bracket, which zone? Zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zone 5. Zone 5. Zone 5 is very high risk zone. Zone 1 is low risk in the earthquakes. And zone 0 is no risk. Any India mein any region which is zone 0? Peninsular was earlier. 2 साल पहले इंडिया ने अपना earthquake का zones have been revised and उसमें India does not have a single zone 0. It is zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. Peninsula has low risk of an earthquake, but zone 0 means no risk. LO versus NO. So zone 1 is LOW, low risk, and zone 0 is no risk. That is zone 5. And hence, earthquake triggers landslides in this region. Hence, earthquake triggers landslides in this region. Earthquake triggers landslides in this region. Earthquake triggers landslides in this region. Example, Nepal earthquake and landslide 2000. Which year? 16. Second reason. Structural steepness of the slope. Structural steepness of the slope. Due to complex folding due to complex folding, structural steepness of the slope due to complex folding mechanism, is more on the southern side of the Himalayas. Can you understand the meaning of this statement? Read again. Structurally they are very complex and the steepness is more on the southern side of the Himalayas. Same point mein, these are also the highest mountains in the world. Full stop. Steep slope and very high height, make them prone to frequent landslides. Third point. Can I say Himalayas are highly glaciated regions of the world? सबसे ज़्यादा glaciers after the Arctic and Antarctic is in Himalayas. And whenever there is glaciers melt, obviously it will cause avalanches and trigger a landslide. So that is the third point. The only thing is we are doing here is structurally making the answer better. We are properly structuring the answer. सबसे important point tectonic activities. Second steepness. Third glaciers. Fourth rivers. And then human made factors हम करेंगे over the period of time. Himalayas is one of the most heavily glaciated mountain range in the world. Himalayas is one of the most heavily glaciated mountain regions in the world. Heavily glaciated mountain regions in the world. Due to the subtropical location of the Himalayas, temperature increases during the summer season. Causing melting of the glaciers. Triggering landslides and avalanche. Triggering landslides and avalanche. That is, Alps maybe these are high mountains. Rockies can also be a high mountains. But Himalayas के साथ क्या है? There is our subtropical location जहाँ पे the temperature is very very high, and the high temperature will trigger the landslides along with the avalanches. Getting it? Next. Himalayan region is the source of origin of mighty rivers of Asia. Example Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mekong, Indus. हम इनके tributaries भी बात नहीं कर रहे. We are just talking about the new main rivers. Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra, Mekong, all Satluj, agar if you look at the tributary, these all are very big rivers. Fine? So the same point mein, these rivers have very high erosion capacity. In the youthful stage very high erosion capacity in the youthful stage, which causes steepening of the slopes, in the bracket V-shaped valleys, as well as undercutting of the slopes. You know what is undercutting? So अगर ये slope है तो नीचे से the river will be cutting the slopes. Next point, with high rate of population increase, in Himalayan countries, Bhutan ho, Nepal ho, India ho, in the Himalayan countries, there is artificial pressure due to population resource imbalance, which causes environmental degradation, comma, artificial increase on the slopes. We have done this, I guess, superincumbent load ki baat jab when we make buildings etc. Artificial increase on the slopes, comma, deforestation, comma, development of roads, which trigger the landslides, Understanding this point? ये हमने detail में लिखा है as a separate point, but we are writing here. That is how you should include the answer in each and every point. Here you are talking about the human activities also. Next point. Some of the Himalayan states, such as Uttarakhand, and the Northeast Indian region, experience very heavy rainfall. What you will call very heavy rainfall as? Cloud burst. Experience very heavy rainfall. Cloud burst, triggering soil flow or mud flow as well as landslides. Triggering soil flow, mud flow as well as landslides. Soil flow, mud flow as well as landslides. Same point पे. The upper catchment area or the origin, कोई भी एक word, upper catchment area. What is an upper catchment area? If a river है, so if this is the origin and this is the end of a river in the delta, so this is an upper catchment area and this is the lower catchment area. जो river का area है in the youthful stage or in the lower part. So this is an upper catchment area. So upper catchment area में there is a heavy rainfall, क्या होगा? Increase in the volume of water. Increase in the volume of water will cause floods. Now you should know as general rule कि if you double the volume of water, उसका erosion capacity increases by 2 times. So erosion capacity is related to landslides. Getting it? That is, there in the upper catchment area there will be floods, and these floods are going to cause more landslides. ये सारे मिसिंग फैक्टर्स हैं इन वेस्टर्न घाट्स. वेस्टर्न घाट्स के रिवर में बहुत कम फ्लड्स आते हैं. There are no major floods because they receive very heavy rainfall, but on the western side of the Western Ghats do not have a big rivers. Big rivers which are there, they are on the eastern side of the Western Ghats. So Western Ghats mein all these points are missing. Avalanche wala point is missing. The undercutting wala point is missing, but Himalayas mein it is very common. Brahmaputra floods every year, both in the upper catchment as well as lower catchment region. Kosi is known as sorrow of Bihar because it gets floods in heavy rainfall in the Nepal, and then all that flood water comes to Bihar. The Alaknanda and Bhagirathi is known for flooding. What caused Uttarakhand tragedy is the flooding of Alaknanda. There was so much cloudburst, there was so much heavy rainfall in the upper catchment area of Alaknanda कि नीचे आके it resulted into cloudburst and increase in the erosion capacity of a river. अब human beings ने वो जो slopes है उनको unstable बनाए थे. That means we had given that river an easy work to do. Had it not been eroded, had we not been there, the river would not have easily eroded the rocks. But we have already broken the rocks. उसको सिर्फ it had to carry it, and thus this entire part came down. Getting it? Everyone? So you can take down. The upper catchment area, due to heavy rainfall, experiences frequent flooding. During southwest monsoon. Which increases the erosive capacity of a rivers, causing landslides. Same point but next paragraph. In the recent years, human intervention such as deforestation, etc. have increased the intensity of these disasters. Means इसका ये मतलब है floods पहले भी आते थे, frequency was same, but they did not used to cause that much large scale death and destruction. But now intensity has increased because of human intervention. That is what deforestation, etc. Why we are writing it in one line only? Because इसके पहले के point में we have written deforestation or earthquakes, etc. So avoid repeating too many points in the answer, but if there is necessary that you are going to write the same point, change the language. Ethics के class में maybe the teacher will tell you कि corruption मत लिखो. Corruption लिखो एक इसमें, दूसरे misallocation of resources लिखो, तीसरे इसमें write the misuse of power, unethical conduct. So otherwise the answer will look same. Getting it? That is where strong vocabulary will work in your favor. Next point. In the northeastern part of India, as it is a junction of Himalayas, comma, Purvanchal Hills, Remember, Purvanchal hills are also a part of Himalayas, but a distinct part. So इसलिए we can use this word interchangeably. Purvanchal hills and Northeast India. And Northeast India. The frequency of landslides, the frequency and intensity of landslides. The frequency and intensity of landslides is high due to very heavy rainfall. Due to very heavy rainfall. Next point. Increasing mining activity in the Himalayan regions. Increasing mining activity in the Himalayan regions, as well as construction of big dams, have disturbed the isostatic balance, causing earthquakes as well as landslides. Understood this point? Example. Local population opposed the construction of dams on Bhagirathi and Alaknanda. Much before Uttarakhand tragedy, They knew कि ऐसा हो सकता है because of big dams, construction of big dams. There was a famous saint in India. He is not as famous as Baba Ramdev, but they belong to the same age group. So when Baba Ramdev was doing advertisement here, that saint was doing fast unto death. The day he died, उसके एक साल बाद उत्तराखंड ट्रेजेडी हुआ. Not कि वो वाला relation नहीं है. He was opposing the development of Uttarakhand. That is the Alaknanda, Bhagirathi, and also this Prayag wala region, all this Rudra Prayag, etc. कि इतना commercial मत करो. This region is not prone. It is not structurally stronger like Himachal Pradesh or Jammu and Kashmir. It is made up of clay rocks, but किसी ने उसका सुना नहीं. When he died, किसी पेपर में नहीं आया था except Hindu. Times of India ने एक छोटी खबर दी थी कहीं तो inside that he has died doing fast unto death. And the Hindu ने एक बड़ी खबर दी थी because Hindu is more prone to more leftist, more environment वाला prone. So उस time Express was like rightist. Express changes with the government. Express का कोई ये नहीं है. This is what once the Congress government will come, Express is pro Congress. When the Modi government will come, Express is pro Modi. So Express का ये history रहा है. इसलिए हमारे काम का है. So because we do not want to criticize government that much, तो हमें best points मिलेंगे Express में से. हिंदू में से only criticism. And Times में they do not even cover. उनको Bollywood and Hollywood is उनके लिए more than enough because it is not meant for UPSC aspirants. So when he died, he was telling the same thing, same intensity, and उसके एक साल बाद came the Uttarakhand tragedy. Actually ये issue तब उठा था when Baba Ramdev started doing fast unto death, and उसको 7 दिन में fast छोड़ना पड़ा because उसकी तबीयत खराब हो गई. And this person did not eat anything for 366 days, and ultimately he died, opposing the government. मतलब एक साल he did not take anything, 366 days. And ultimately he died here. So I forgot his name. So this is what they were opposing. Chipko movement also opposed this. But government ने करते गए. And then when we realized कि नहीं, it is really prone. अब the government का है no big dams now on Alaknanda and Bhagirathi. And after the Uttarakhand river, we have totally stopped the proposal. इसके बाद अब dams नहीं बनेंगे in Uttarakhand. Otherwise, there is a bigger tragedy like this to happen in the future. But what has happened is China has started mining activity in Tibet. Tibet is upstream, we are downstream. China has started constructing the big dams in Tibet. Tibet में कोई भी change हुआ उसका flow का impact होगा downstream, because we are below. हम नीचे है. If China does anything here, उसका impact will be here. जैसे if we do anything here, उसका impact is on Bangladesh. So it is always the downstream region which is at a problem. And अभी India ने तो stop किया. Will China stop this? No. So second example. Due to extremely rich mineral deposits in Himalayan and Tibetan region, Indian government has allowed mining activities in the Himalayas. Indian government has allowed mining activities in the Himalayas, but only 5-star rated mining companies. Only 5-star rated mining companies. 5-star rated mining companies are allowed for mining activities. 5-star rated mining companies are allowed for mining activities. Who gives this rating? Indian Bureau of Mines. 5-star rated. India mein there is a star rating. We have started this as a star rating. Why? Because see, we cannot stop. Last year China discovered mineral deposits worth 100 million in Tibet. China ने तो शुरू कर दिया है. Now if India is not doing mining, we are losing the economic resources. If we give mining permission to, why? Because 100 million है China का new deposits, Chinese, उससे double है Indian side में. Indian the economic value of Himalayas only in the state of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand is $2.6 billion. $2.6 billion. So if we do the proper, अब India का नुकसान है if we do not do, and इसमें generally rare earth है. Rare earth is going to be the future, because most of the electronic industry, semiconductor industry, goods industry will be based on rare earth minerals. You have an idea what is rare earth minerals? They have superconductivity. Superconductivity is one of their superconductivity. Very fast transfer of electric signals. अभी वो जब science में होगा तब होगा. Just remember superconductivity, very fast. There is less resistance. Because there is less resistance, कोई भी signal, whether it is electric signal, whether it is communication signal, it goes very fast. And because of this, अगर electric signal है तो more efficiently production. अगर communication signal है within seconds. पहले के इसमें लैंडलाइंस में क्यों पहले ट्रंक कॉल होती थी. यू यूज्ड टू कॉल टेलीफोन एक्सचेंज, फिर वो आधा घंटा ट्राई करता था टू कॉल योर रिलेटिव. यू यूज्ड टू कीप ऑन होल्डिंग, एंड देन जब वो कनेक्ट करते थे देन यू कुड टॉक प्रॉपरली. देन केम लैंडलाइंस एंड अब मोबाइल्स, एंड मोबाइल्स के बाद 5th जनरेशन 4th जनरेशन डायरेक्ट वीडियो कॉलिंग. So the same thing is happening even in the electronic good industry. जितना fast होगा conductivity, जितना fast होगा processing, उतना difficult will be the, उतना easy will be the calculations, उतना better will be the processing power. जितना better processing power तो आ जाता है big data analysis. all जो ये आजकल हो रहा है big data analysis etc. It is all based on the processing power. Why there was no big data analysis? Now why Google knows कि whether you have visited a shop or not, कि next time when you open a Google site वो उसी product की ad देता है आपको. That is depending upon your behavior pattern. Means you actually देखा गया तो there is no privacy left in life today. If you are keeping your location on, there is no privacy. You go to CP, आपको आएगा please review about XYZ shop of a CP, जिस shop में आप जाओगे. So there is, this is what is an, and next time when you, if you search something on Amazon, next time if you open any site, आपको उसी की ad आएगी, उसी product की by the competitors. So this is what is an example here, big data analysis का. All this is happening because of rare earth minerals. Future belongs to rare earth minerals, and सबसे ज़्यादा rare earth minerals naturally are in China. That is, and China is becoming so much an economic power कि कुछ दिनों में I feel so it will finish USA economically. Militarily तो खत्म नहीं कर पाएगा, but it will finish. And हमारे जैसे countries will bear the burn. 71 है, 80-85 तक तो जाएगा ही US रुपी, Indian रुपी, डॉलर के मुकाबले. अभी 71 है, 72. So it will go till 80 I guess. So at least till 80. So and then it will start coming up. So this is how, and therefore we have to stop Chinese hegemony. So therefore we have to change our resources. We have to change our thinking. Bureaucracy पुरानी नहीं, हिमालयस में मत करो, नहीं काम हो ही नहीं सकता. नई ब्यूरोक्रेसी, नई लीडरशिप रिक्वायर्स करना है. सॉल्यूशन क्या है बताओ? So one of the solution is 5-star rating given by Indian Bureau of Mines. AC में आपको चाहिए, but there will be ACs which will be consuming power. So new solution is BEE rating for the air condition. See, these are the star ratings. Your air condition has star ratings. This has been your 3 times a prelims का question. Who gives this? What does it mean? किसको किसको दिया जाता है? So it is given by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So it is applies to all. So similarly, जैसे ये star rating है, it has some meaning. It depends upon your electric consumption कैसे होगा. So 5-star means least electric consumption. 1-star means more electric consumption. So 1-star AC or 1-star any electronic equipment is costly, is very सस्ता. 5-star is very costly. 1-star लो, उसको 10 साल चलाओ या 10,000 सस्ता होगा, या 5-star लो उसको 10 साल चलाओ, the cost is going to be same because you will be paying more bills there, and यहाँ पे you will be paying less bills. And जितना ज़्यादा star rating है उतना. So and generally घर के लिए 3-star, offices के लिए 5-star. Why? Because offices में they work for 24 hours. घर में सिर्फ रात को 10 से 12 घंटा. So if your usage of any electronic equipment is this, then 3-star, 4-star. So similarly, last year we had introduced a 5-star rating of the mines. And obviously, which are the mining companies? L&T, Tata. And these are the companies, जो big brands है, they are so conscious about their brand image कि अगर government ने कहा कि ये 10 rules है, they have their own rules which are even better than the government. And therefore, they will make sure that there is environmental sustainability and there will not be effect. Problem होता है local mines से. Local दादा mining कर रहा है, local गुंडा mining कर रहा है. He does not know anything. He gives contract to someone else, and that contractor कुछ नहीं. अलकनंदा का सोर्स है, गंगा का सोर्स है, तो वो वहीं पे बिस्लेरी का प्लांट लगा देगा. If you give it to the local person, this can happen here. So Indian Bureau of Mines is taking care of this. And see, these are all Indian companies, because again problem ये है, if you give to the foreign companies, Pepsi is not concerned with Indians. So what it has done, it has taken out so much water from the Kerala कि केरला में आज droughts है. There is a drought in summer season in Kerala. Why? Because Pepsi and Coca-Cola का plants हैं, and they take all the groundwater. Kerala में there has been so much decrease in the groundwater कि salinity has increased. Salinity, पानी नीचे चला गया, it comes into the contact with the rocks, and it becomes, the solution becomes concentrated, and that is fluoride poisoning. Fluoride poisoning is occurring in Kerala. Fluoride is present in your toothpaste, but in a very minimal amount, क्योंकि it will clear the enamel या tooth. केरला में इतना ज़्यादा है fluoride poisoning कि the people who drink that water, they do not have gums and tooth left only, because it gets dissolved. ये तो ठीक है, this can be artificial, they do not have, unka bones are getting the dissolved, and that is what is happening here. And the only thing to blame is Pepsi ka plant and Coca-Cola ka plant, removal of groundwater. So therefore this is very important. Now ये information शायद आपको कहीं और भी आएगी use में, so always keep on interlinking the syllabus. This question can come in the mains. What do you understand by sustainable mining? So you should know this information. Some information from newspaper, some information from the notes, and then the final answer will come.
Sir, if we stop building dams on the Uttarakhand region, so how will we electrify those regions?
Decentralized electricity. Dams are wrong for a country like India. We have given up the policy of making big dams. When you make big dams, it takes at least 20 years for construction. When you take 20 years for construction, cost escalates. Big dams are associated with submergence and displacement of the people. वो तो social cost उसका अलग ही है. You have to acquire the land, you have to give land acquisition money to the people, then you have to make sure that people are migrated and settled in some other region. किसी भी लॉस के हिसाब से if your land is of XYZ fertility, तो नई land भी उतनी fertility की होनी चाहिए. You cannot take people from the fertile regions of UP, Bihar and यहाँ पे डैम बनाओ और उनको जाके जैसलमेर, जोधपुर में सेटल कर दो, वैसे नहीं होगा, because fertility changes. So and big dams are not a good idea at all. Best is watershed management. Best is rainwater harvesting. Why can't Delhi Municipal Corporation make a law कि जो भी नई building बनेगी उसमें water harvesting is compulsory? Bombay has made a law, Pune has made a law, Bangalore has made a law. So why can't central government who is sitting here make a law in Delhi? So Delhi में अभी नया law आया है, but this should have been around 20 years back. Then constructing small dams which are known as check dams, that is an answer. And in the smaller country like India, best is decentralized solar energy. Each and every house can have solar panels. इतनी ज़्यादा धूप है हमारे कंट्री में. At least your geyser and tube lights and fan work, तो how much less will be the coal का pollution? But problem is we have an habit of, see this is an problem that is associated with Indians because we have been fed like this from last 70 years. हर चीज़ के लिए we look towards government. Government कब हमें subsidy देगी, कब हम solar panel लेंगे. Job के लिए we look towards government. Healthcare के लिए, sorry, healthcare के लिए we look towards government. So that is the problem which Modi is trying to change by cutting down the subsidies. देखो, I am neither a supporter of both, ना कांग्रेस ना मोदी, but कांग्रेस ने हमें फ्री की आदत बहुत लगाई है. हर चीज़ फ्री में मिलेगी. This should not happen. Otherwise, the governments will collapse. पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे towards government? Taxation तो only, and how many people in India pay tax? 8% out of 100%. जो proper tax pay करते हैं. If you are from business family or if you, for example, if I am a service provider here, मेरे को तो गवर्नमेंट ही कहता है 50% आप लॉस दिखा सकते हो. तो आई कैन शो 50% मेरा लॉस है, आने जाने में टैक्सी करता हूँ, दैट इज लॉस. आई एम टीचिंग हियर, दैट इज लॉस. इफ आई बाय अ स्टेशनरी, दैट इज लॉस. इफ आई बाय एनी बुक टू रीड टू टीच यू, दैट इज लॉस. आई कैन टेक ऑल दिस डिप्रिसिएशन वैल्यू इन द टैक्स. उसके बाद जो 50% है उसके ऊपर आई विल अप्लाई द गवर्नमेंट का रूल्स. 1.5 लाख पे कुछ नहीं, उसके बाद 5 लाख तक XYZ, द 1.5 दैट इज ATC के अंडर. एंड देन ऐसे करके आई हैव सीन द पीपल इन द बिजनेस कम्युनिटी हु अर्न 60-70 lakhs also, they take refund from the government because उनका earning is less. And salaried person who earns 10 lakhs also, he pays 30% of the tax because उसको ये नहीं है. And that is the issue. That is, you see, ये जितना भी है market area, you ask anyone how many of them pays the tax. They may be living in very big houses, but tax कुछ नहीं है. And that is the problem with the state of Gujarat also. Business oriented state. Tax collection देखो गुजरात का कुछ नहीं. Sales tax है, income tax कुछ भी नहीं है. So all this, that is why we have to change the mindset also. And then when you pay the tax etc., you can question the government कि I am giving you money, where is my service? Why you can question एयरटेल और बीएसएनएल, आप क्या कहते हो, मैंने बिल भरा है मुझे सर्विस चाहिए। आप कलेक्टर को कहते हो ऐसा, मैंने आपका टैक्स दिया है मुझे सर्विस चाहिए, नहीं, वी हम डरते हैं। दैट इज व्हाट इज ब्रिटिश legacy. Otherwise, government, we should demand the service, and that is how the countries, developed countries and developing countries are different. Developed countries mein government is a service provider and you are a customer. Developing countries mein government is my baap and you are a citizen. So that is the difference here. So that is, and that will come, change over the period of time. Har country mein change ho raha hai, India mein bhi it will change over the period of time. So next point, landslide disaster management. That is the next topic is the landslide disaster management in India. We'll do the points of Western Ghats. Western Ghats के इतने डिटेल में नहीं है, इसलिए ये डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट होने के बाद I will dictate. So first one or two general knowledge questions. Who is concerned with disaster management at ground level? Who is concerned? Which is the at the ground level? It is the DM or the collector who is concerned with the disaster management at the ground level. Now suppose if you are posted as a collector of a disaster, landslide disaster prone region, what are the steps you are going to take? Stop direct ban culture पे, ये हमारा दूसरा प्रॉब्लम है. Stop illegal without landslide, people को evacuate करेगा. For what? In case of landslides, that is evacuate the people, etc. ये तो ठीक है. Climate what? अच्छा, infrastructure. I thought afforestation is a point जो climate change से लेके disaster, flooding सब में आएगा. So remember, afforestation is a solution for everyone, right from avalanches till. But सबसे पहले what you are going to do, you are going to identify the disaster prone regions of India. Oh. So you are going to identify, that is you are going to make surveys and inventories. Then after identifying, you are going to see in the recent past, has there been change in any of the disaster prone areas? कि किस area में there has to be, there is increase in the disaster and cause. Why there has been decrease in the disaster, landslides and cause. Yeah, you will look at the history of disaster region in that. आप district हो, you are not posted in a village कि एक या in only in Western Ghats, एक पूरा district होता है, and district is a very big area जिसमें एक area में ही disaster होगा. ऐसा नहीं कि पूरे Western Ghats, पूरे उस district में there is an disaster only. So first you will have to identify. Northeast में you go, you have to identify which regions are there. Now when you do identify, you classify them into 2 or 3 categories. Very high risk of disaster, moderate risk of disaster and low risk of disaster. You cannot ban everything in a country like India because 18% population के लिए only 2% of land is there. So anywhere in India you go, you will find population. If you keep on evacuating and banning, where will the population stay then? So then what we will have to do, you will have to categorize zone 5, very high risk of disaster, as no development zone. Then जहाँ पे moderate है risk of disaster, some economic and commercial activities may be allowed. जहाँ very low risk of disaster है, वहाँ पे we can allow residential commercial activities also. depending upon what is there. Why no go zone in the high risk of disaster? Disaster kabhi bhi ho sakta hai. And see, residential activities should not be allowed in this region, because residential activity hai, the people are going to be there for 24 hours. Out of this 24 hours, there will be many times when people will be sleeping. And when the disaster strikes, they do not have reaction time, and that is what kills the people. Commercial, low commercial activity, even in the region of disaster, आप काम कर रहे हो, so you are attentive. When you are attentive, if any disaster is going to strike, you can go from there. India, you see any disaster, सबसे ज़्यादा death होगी because disaster has struck in the night or early morning when people are sleeping. So whenever you write such answers, or these are common questions in interview, irrespective of your optional का background. Geography optional है तो 100% आएगा. But irrespective of your optional ka background, these are the common questions in interview, and there you have to show you are thinking from all the angles. That is what will make a leader. That is, you are going into that region and thinking कि वहाँ पे क्या हो सकता है, when it is going to strike, how we will. So first is you will make the inventories, then you will classify them into different zones. अब see, India जैसे country में there are many regions which you cannot go actually, because it is tough terrain, highly forested region, very steep slope. तो आपको आंसर में लिखना है, you are going to make the use of Indian regional remote sensing satellite system and the aerial photography to identify the disaster. So you have linked science and technology with disaster management. You have linked the satellite systems of India. जो हमारा कौन सा लिखोगे, रीजनल सैटेलाइट या कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट? रीजनल, IRNSS. IRNSS is used specifically in India for disaster management. यही तो बीच में कंट्रोवर्सी हुई थी अभी, that IRNSS could not even predict the Kerala flood. So why do we need so much satellites, and why are we sending people to Mars when we cannot even predict the Kerala floods properly? There was a big article, I don't know exactly which newspaper, but the person had criticized both Indian Meteorological Department and Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System कि आप early warning क्यों नहीं दे सकते लोगों को, when you have so complex mechanism in the place. And India में क्यों नहीं है early warning? Because coordination नहीं है. मुंबई अटैक के बाद सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कहती है हाँ हमारे पास तो जानकारी थी, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कहती है हाँ हमारे पास जानकारी थी, हमने उनको पास की दी थी. मुंबई पुलिस कहती है हमारे पास तो कुछ नहीं आया था इनका ये थिंग. द सेम थिंग हैपेंस. केरला फ्लड के बाद सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट सेड हाँ वी न्यू दैट इट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट सेज कि हमें तो कम्युनिकेशन ही नहीं आया दैट ऑफ अ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दैट देयर इज अ कॉज ऑफ फ्लडिंग. एंड सी, हैड देयर बीन प्रॉपर कम्युनिकेशन, कितने लाइफ सेव्ड, हाउ मच मनी सेव्ड, हाउ मच इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेव्ड, because you evacuate the people, you take the policy, etc. You should thank terrorists if they decide not to strike India. Otherwise, striking Delhi metro is also very easy. Main station पे CISF की checking is very proper. If you go to that part of the Delhi metro, it is तो on the ground. एंड इंडिया जैसी वास्ट कंट्री में कहीं से भी क्रॉस करके मेट्रो स्टेशन में घुस सकते हो. दिल्ली मेट्रो फिर भी टफ है, मुंबई लोकल इट इज सो इजी टू स्ट्राइक. वहाँ पे तो दे डू नॉट हैव टू यूज द RDX ऑल्सो. ये भी है डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. उनको एक दिवाली का बड़ा फटाका फोड़ना है, वैसे ही पीपल विल डाई बिकॉज ऑफ द स्टैम्पेड. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज देयर, दैट इज बिकॉज एंड वी हैव नॉट येट लर्नड फ्रॉम आवर मिस्टेक्स. So this is what you will have to show in the answer. So first step is identification. Then once you identify, there is prevention. How to do the prevention? That is stabilization of the slopes. Prevention can be afforestation. That is, the prevention can be if there is any river ka change of the channel, then stabilize the river channel by making concrete canals. क्योंकि concrete को erode करना is not that easy. Stabilize, then the another way can be, अगर कोई slopes है जहाँ पे landslide है तो उसको concrete करो या उसको लोहे की जाली बिठाओ. And then if there is a landslide, then there is the उसके बाद early warning plays a place. कि you have everything in the place, you get early warning, and then आएगा evacuation. Evacuation will be done only during the early warning. उसके बाद landslide will strike or any disaster will strike, and कोई भी disaster जब हम strike करेंगे, the answer will be same, that is rehabilitation etc. is there. But उसके बाद is recovery. How you are going to recover? That is long term recovery, short term recovery. Short term recovery में giving food to the people, distributing medicines to the people, taking the people to the hospitals. Long term recovery में there are two aspects, financial recovery and emotional recovery. Imagine you are walking down the road और आपके बाजू से a very fast car goes. आप डर जाते हो, आप थोड़े सेकंड के लिए you get puzzled. Now these are the people who had seen death at their landslides, earthquakes, tsunami. So what will be the emotional trauma? So we never talk of that emotional trauma in a country. हमारे लिए psychiatrist के पास जाना मतलब आदमी पागल है इसलिए psychiatrist के पास जा रहा है. We never go to psychiatrist for taking the emotional help. That is, if try telling your parents कि that is a good thing also, that is a bad thing also. I am just talking from the answer point of view. क्योंकि मेरी पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही है, मैं थोड़ा psychiatrist को दिखा के आता हूँ. And you see what the reaction they will be. अगर मेरे पेरेंट्स है तो वो तो बस फोन में से हाथ नहीं निकलता, इतना छोड़ो. That is, otherwise they will पागल ये हो गया है क्या etc. But and this is what is the change. 2005 का Disaster Management Act made psychiatrical recovery, that is the use of psychologists, a compulsory in disaster management. उसके बाद there is financial recovery. Financial recovery, you have to build their houses again, poor people का. You have to search, give them new job opportunities, new avenues of employment. And then is large scale mitigation की landslides तो हर साल होने वाले हैं, earthquake कभी भी हो सकता है. So you have to be earthquake proof. You have to be landslide proof, जिसको word कहा जाता है mitigation. And preparedness. And this is what is the disaster management. Disaster management has early warning. उसके बाद it has relief and rehabilitation. उसके बाद it has recovery. उसके बाद it is preparedness. Why? Because disaster can strike any time, and therefore we say disaster management is a cycle. What was your doubt?
Sir, actually, recently there was an article in Hindu that for Kerala flood, that dams are equally responsible because the water level is dam.
I will discuss that article. I have वो जो editorial में था, I will discuss that article later on when we'll do the floods. See, वो एक व्यू पॉइंट है, वो भी इसलिए है because the upstream states जो है, they release the water because if this is a dam, this is how generally a dam is. There are some human settlements या cities यहाँ पे है, there are some cities here. Now if, and dam is always backed by a reservoir very big. So if there is heavy rainfall here, then there will be flooding. And ऊपर का part will get flooded. So what they do is they open the gates. उससे नीचे का part becomes flooded. Dams are both responsible for floods also, and they control the floods also. How they are responsible? This is the way they are responsible. इसका solution is why there is so much increase. एक तो heavy rainfall, see, nature के आगे you cannot go. No matter what you do, develop in the science and technology, if the nature comes back at you with an extreme force, we cannot do anything. चाहे कुछ भी करो, tsunami अगर आती है, you cannot do anything. Earthquake अगर आता है, you cannot do anything. But we can reduce the impact. We can reduce. India में problems क्या है? Dams थोड़े भी इसमें क्यों भर जाते हैं? Because there is so much siltation की dams की आधी depth कम हो गई है. क्यों? और ये siltation निकाला नहीं गया है. क्यों नहीं निकाला गया है? अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं है, करप्शन है. बजट में तो दिखाया है, yes, we have used XYZ crores of rupees to remove the siltation. ग्राउंड पे वैसे ही सिल्ट है. So that is the problem that is happening. जैसे in my state, 75,000 crore rupees has already been spent in a region known as Vidarbha for making dams and canals. Ground is, you know, Vidarbha में आज भी farmers suicide होते हैं because there is no irrigation. और state government में है 75,000 crores have already been spent. You know 75,000 crores कहाँ पे गए हैं वो? So this is the problem here. Getting it? You draw this. नहीं, I am in the class. Diagram is the disaster management cycle. Oh, you should, whenever the answer will come on the disaster and disaster management, geographical disasters या कोई भी disasters and disaster management, you should know that what is different is early warning and preparedness. Floods के लिए early warning will be different, landslides के लिए it will be different, tsunami के लिए it will be different. After we can start here. Disaster has struck and it is going to strike with regular intensity. Landslides ऐसे नहीं होगा कि कभी खत्म होगा. There will be landslides, there will be earthquakes, there will be volcanoes, there will be tsunami. It is our response to that which will make it a hazard or disaster. An earthquake may become an hazard, very powerful earthquake can become an hazard अगर country properly prepared है, developed country कि death नहीं हुआ etc. It will become a disaster if there is large scale death and destruction. Understanding this? So you must have read the news also. High speed train collides in France, 2 people have died. And we read the news. Footbridge falls in Delhi, 200 people have died. In India, or 200 people died. Or यात्रा के समय there is a stampede and 285 people died. ये है difference. News आता है a very powerful earthquake strikes in Japan causing the death of 8 people. News आता है a very powerful earthquake strikes in Indonesia causing the death of 156 people. और 200 एंड यही ये न्यूज़ आइटम बन जाएगा, अ वेरी पावरफुल अर्थक्वेक स्ट्राइक्स इन नेपाल किलिंग 300 पीपल. So you have to understand what is the difference between hazard and disaster. Natural, there will be hazards. It is our response, our preparedness, ये hazard रहेगा या it will be disaster. Best example is very poor state of India, Orissa. Always struck by cyclones. So 1999 super cyclone of Orissa, killing more than 1,000 people. Super cyclone of Orissa. 2005 में came Disaster Management Act. It gave us this concept of cycle, etc. And after that Disaster Management Act, the only one state जिसने उस act को very properly follow किया, that was Orissa. So 1999 का super cyclone का speed था winds का 350 kilometers per hour. Then came cyclone Falin. Then came cyclone which struck last year. Not Oki. Oki was down. It was not that a famous cyclone. Hudhud. Cyclone Hudhud. So we'll take about the cyclone Falin, जिसमें the speed went to 756 kilometers per hour wind की speed. 300 से 756 kilometers per hour. Double है wind की speed. Obviously उसका destruction capacity will be very high. The death in Orissa were 9. पहले कितना था? More than 1,000. This is what the change government can do in disaster management. One of the best states for disaster management. See, not lacking resources, but जो भी act है, जितना भी उसके resources है, properly utilized. On other hand, we have Kerala, rich state. On other hand, we have Tamil Nadu, rich state. Cyclone comes and kills more than 150 people. 76 fishermen जो पिछले साल cyclone ओखी में गायब थे, उनके तो अभी तक death list में नाम नहीं आया है. But you know, they have not yet returned, means they have died over the period of time. So this is what the disaster management can do properly, because they have utilized the and will do what is the preparedness. What ये इसमें ओडिशा का example नहीं होगा, उसका cyclone and tsunami में होगा, because it is an coastal state. It does not have a problem of landslides. The difference between Orissa and Tamil Nadu is Orissa started planting mangroves. It made mangroves very, very stronger. And Tamil Nadu is उसने कहा कि हम wall बनाएंगे. After the Orissa, there was a big function in which a brick of wall was, जो करते हैं भूमि पूजन and etc. जो नेता लोग करते हैं, वो रखते हैं brick, वो सब हुआ. After 2004 tsunami. आज 2018 है, उस ब्रिक के ऊपर धूल की लेयर चढ़ी होगी, पर उसके ऊपर दूसरी ब्रिक नहीं चढ़ी है. There is no wall. So कल क्या होगा? If tsunami strikes India, no deaths in Orissa and many deaths in Tamil Nadu. Why? Because इतना ज़्यादा urbanization है कि mangroves तो destroyed ही है. There are no mangroves left in Tamil Nadu that much. और मुंबई में why there are so many floods? See, I belong to that city some years back. In my area at least, because I am a local person, so obviously मैं उस high rises वाले area में नहीं रहता हूँ. So in our area there were large farms, there were large fields in that region, and वहाँ पे कभी flooding का problem नहीं होता था. बचपन से मुझे याद है कभी flooding नहीं हो रहा है. अब इसी अगस्त में मेरे घर के नीचे जो ग्राउंड फ्लोर है हमारे बिल्डिंग का, तो उस ग्राउंड फ्लोर में पानी चला गया था. Why? Because so many big townships have come in the surrounding region. That नाम सबके अलग, very fancy, platinum homes, lake view apartments, mountain view apartments, resort view apartments. तो lake view इसलिए क्योंकि हर मानसून में वो गारंटी देते हैं कि आपके घर के सामने there will be lake. There is no original lake left. जो original lake था वो तो अब नाला बन गया है. It only smells now. So, but builder guarantee देगा आपको unofficially कि हम we will cause urban flooding and there will be lakes. So literally the people had to take out boats to move in the city. There was a small motor boat जिससे आप क्योंकि इतना पानी था in the city. So that is what is causing a problem. What happened? 2016 में wetland rules were changed. Wetlands were removed from the central list. Wetlands were removed from, there was an authority known as Wetland Protection Authority जिसको dismiss कर दिया. And जैसे ही dismiss किया 450 hectares of wetland were cleared for the new projects. And concrete jungle बन गया. अब concrete jungle बन गया तो where will that water go? So the same thing is here. Same thing you see in here. Same thing you see in Gurgaon. Concrete jungle. Gurgaon, the biggest problem is they do not acknowledge. The biggest problem in Gurgaon is जिसने भी town planning की, he did not think of sewage system. उनको लगा ही नहीं कि town इतना बड़ा हो जाएगा. So Gurgaon is one city in India which does not have a sewage system. So थोड़ी भी बारिश हो जाती है, we call that as a millennium city, city of 21st century. But थोड़ी भी बारिश हो जाती है तो mega jam. In fact, Gurgaon के बाद the term came known as mega traffic jam. उससे पहले traffic jam था. The mega traffic jam. They make it of concrete, and concrete is not easily destroyed by waves, water waves. They reinforce steel in that. Reinforced steel होता है उसमें. Japan has constructed that. इसलिए Japan has coastal nuclear reactors. Fukushima was a coastal nuclear reactor, but still it all depends upon the intensity. But you should understand one simple thing. When we are a poor country, जब हमारे पास nature ने solution दिया है कि plant mangroves, why to waste crores of rupees in constructing a wall? Wall इसलिए किया जाता है so that tender होगा, so that corruption होगा, and there will be money coming up. So over the period of time, when you go to service, my friends, there are some of my friends who are totally unethical. They came with the service with only one motive कि मेरा ये पैकेज था प्राइवेट सेक्टर में, आई हैव टू मेक श्योर कि इससे मेरे को 5 गुना पैकेज मिलेगा इन दिस. सो एंड दिस पीपल ऑल्सो क्लियर. वाई? बिकॉज दे आर नॉट इमोशनल अबाउट कंट्रीब्यूटर. उनको एक ही ये होता है कि मुझे सर्विस में जाके पैसे कमाने हैं. सो व्हेन यू हैव अ सिंगल माइंडेड फोकस, वेदर इट इज positive or negative, you will always succeed. So they have a single minded focus here. So this is a person, I will never take his name. He was happy कि उसमें उसके district में floods आए in Kerala. Why? Money will come, food items will come, international aid will come, and he being a district collector, he is the sole authority to distribute that money, and that is his best chance of earning money in his lifetime. What is the difference between hazard and a disaster? Natural hazard hota hai, earthquake is an hazard, but if it kills the people, then only we will call it as a disaster. Landslide is a hazard, but if it kills the people, it will be known as a disaster. So he was telling me day before yesterday only he has got some international sabun आए हैं जो उसने अपने घर के लिए फिर यूज़ किए हैं, and this the cost of that is some 700-800 rupees per soap. So international aid हमेशा आता है, but अरे वाह किसी ने कहा अभी you can understand the focus. So but this was meant not for him. This was not meant for this. This was meant because they are so good कि leptospirosis को खत्म कर सकता है. That did not get distributed, and you can see now Kerala is suffering from leptospirosis. ये हर district में हो रहा है, इसीलिए it is increasing in this thing. So you have to understand here. Now whenever you will write a disaster, this will change and this will change. It will be same. Understanding this? It will be same here. What is going to change here and what is going to change is this two things. Floods के लिए mitigation will be different. Floods के लिए early warning will be different. Recovery and rehabilitation will be same for each and every disaster. So what will be the early warning for landslides is the what we have written. So take down landslide disaster management. Landslide disaster management. point 1 is landslide zone mapping. Landslide zone mapping. Landslide zone mapping. At the national level, landslide zone mapping is done by Geological Survey of India. You can write in the exam GSI also, short form, but सारे capitals में. Geological Survey of India, GSI. Survey of India. While at the district level, it is the duty of district collector. To identify and have a inventory is list, have an inventory of frequent landslide prone areas, Second point, see, you have an inventory. After inventory, you should look at the historical data कि कौन से महीने में लैंडस्लाइड के चांसेस ज़्यादा है. ऐसा नहीं है कि रोज़ लैंडस्लाइड हो रहा है उत्तराखंड में. You know that July में there are very high chances of landslide, August में there is high chances, and then another high chance will be in the month of October, when the rivers and because of October heat, due to rainfall, पानी ज़्यादा है in the rivers, and due to October heat, the snow will start melting, and thus the river will be there. And during this months, you will take extra precaution. Understanding this? That is second. Going through the historical data of landslides, and identifying the time of a year, in which the landslides are more frequent. Full stop. Analysis of historical data also gives an idea of intensity of the landslides. Next point. With the development of satellite technology, and better aerial photography, Aerial photography is a kind of an photography which is taken from the satellites or from the planes. आपने बहुत बार देखा होगा satellite image, that is an aerial photography. But one of the best example of aerial photography is not that what we, जो हिंदू में जो आता है इंडिया एंड उसके ऊपर क्लाउड कवर है कि नहीं, जो डेली वेदर रिपोर्ट है, दैट इज एन एरियल फोटोग्राफी. बट द बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ एरियल फोटोग्राफी इज, वी डू नॉट जनरली सी दिस, उसके लिए यू हैव टू सी द टेक्निकल GIS, जिसमें color codes are used. They do not show the satellites, they do not show the terrain. They will show red color, blue color, green color. Red color because some of the infrared waves are reflected, blue color because different colors are reflected. So blue color matlab that area is highly deforested. So once you can coordinate with the aerial photography, government knows कि कहाँ पे होने वाला है. Because aerial photography ये जो है satellite data, Indian regional remote sensing satellites, it is used for urban planning, it is used for disaster management, it is used to study cropping pattern, it is used to study underground water resources, it is used by some of the countries also, जो SAARC की countries है, or even by the government of India to predict volcanoes. Underground water अगर वो बता सकता है, that means वो ये भी बता सकता है what is the temperature underground. The rate of change of temperature, अगर temperature suddenly increase हो रहा है over the period of time and you know कि वहाँ पे this is a plate margin, what means it means magma is rising upwards. So remember this, and this has been your prelims question also. They had given you 5-6 options. So it is used to study human population density. It is used to study urban planning. You already know that with the help of Google Maps. क्या है Google Maps? It is aerial photography only. So this has been a past year question. They had given you 2-3 points and उसमें एक option था communication. So obviously which goes? Communication. Communication के लिए require geostationary satellite which goes around the equator. जैसे अर्थ रोटेट हो रहा है उसके ऊपर दैट सैटेलाइट इज रोटेटिंग. डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के लिए वी रिक्वायर सन सिंक्रोनस सैटेलाइट. सन सिंक्रोनस मीन्स इफ द अर्थ इज रोटेटिंग वो इंडिया के ऊपर ही उसको फोकस करना है. सो इट विल गो ऑल ओवर इंडिया लाइक दिस. सन सिंक्रोनस दैट इज इट गोज फ्रॉम पोल टू पोल. सन सिंक्रोनस. जियोसिंक्रोनस इट जस्ट स्टेज स्टेशनरी ओवर द. जियोसिंक्रोनस अर्थ के रोटेशनल स्पीड से इट इज एडजस्टेड. सो जितना है रोटेशनल स्पीड उतने फास्ट सैटेलाइट जाता है. सो एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस यू आर कॉन्स्टेंटली अंडर द सैटेलाइट एंड देयरफॉर यू कैन कम्युनिकेट विद दैट. सो DTH सिस्टम, कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम, फोन, ये सारा वर्क्स विद द जियोसिंक्रोनस. सो इसके लिए वी जनरली यूज एरियल फोटोग्राफी के लिए सन सिंक्रोनस सैटेलाइट. So aerial photography can be the satellite, the development of satellite and better aerial photography has increased or sorry has improved identification of the landslide prone regions, has improved the identification of the landslide prone regions. Landslide prone regions, and today even the areas which cannot be accessed or which cannot be visited due to difficult topography can be identified. Next, so you have done what? Early warning. This all is an early warning. So इसमें एक है early warning. That is the next point. Doppler effect or cloud Doppler. What is Doppler effect? What is Doppler? Speed of the sound. That is, you send a sound ka signal and it comes back at what? Frequency. And usse you can predict this. Now this Doppler effect was told to be used by India much earlier. That is, इंडिया के पास है ये डॉपलर इफेक्ट. इससे हमें intensity of rainfall पता लगता था. That is, you cannot go and see the intensity of rainfall in the higher parts of the Himalayas. But what happens is, by sending the sound ka signal in the dry climatic condition, it will go and strike Himalayas and come back with much more speed. In the moist climatic conditions, it will go and struck the Himalayas, and because moisture में speed decrease होगा, so it will come with a lesser speed. And during the cloud burst, उसकी speed बहुत कम होगी. Why during the cloud burst? Because thunder होगा, rainstorm होगा, and the sound may also get, sound is what? And wave of energy, it will also get distracted. It will also get scattered. So by this, actually this was to be done in 2005-6 earlier. Uttarakhand में अगर ये Doppler effect use होता, तो they could have known that there is a more rainfall occurring in the higher reaches of Alaknanda, and that rain is going to come down. So stop the yatra, stop the tourist. Everything was in place, but Dopplers चल ही नहीं रहे थे. They were not used only, they were not maintained only. Page पे सब कुछ था. We are using Doppler, we are using this thing. Reality में they were not working. And when they started कि हाँ बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हो रही है, किसी एक को लगा कि यार बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश है, at least check करो Doppler से. It was very very late. That is, they sent the Doppler का signal वो सब, उसके बाद उनको सिर्फ 24 घंटे मिले थे. And 24 घंटे में with controlling so much crowd, and that already that process had started. So this is what is, that is the Doppler effect. Can be used to measure the intensity of rainfall, in upland region, in the upland region, intensity of rainfall in the upland region. Example लिखना. Now it is being used in Uttarakhand. Example, after Uttarakhand tragedy, hilly regions should compulsorily install cloud or rain Dopplers. Cloud Doppler इनको कहते हैं, not just Doppler, it's cloud Doppler. Preparedness. Preparedness and mitigation will be more or less same. So you can write preparedness and mitigation. क्योंकि बहुत सारे points दोनों में common है, so you cannot distinguish these 2 points in the examination. Preparedness and mitigation. First point. There has to be strict zonation. With areas extremely prone to landslides. Being developed as areas extremely prone to landslides being developed as no-go zones. No-go zones. Whenever you write no-go, it is like this. Always include in inverted commas. No-go zones. For development as well as residential activities. For development as well as residential activities. Development as well as residential activities. Second, strict enforcement of the laws. Strict enforcement of the laws. So that illegal construction, comma, illegal economic activities such as mining, does not cause artificial change in pressure or load, does not cause artificial change in pressure or load. आर्टिफिशियल चेंज, इंक्रीज भी हो सकता है प्रेशर, डिक्रीज भी हो सकता है. अगर इंक्रीज हुआ तो माउंटेन्स का रॉक विल इंक्रीज, अगर इंक्रीज हुआ तो ऊपर से नीचे आ जाएगा. अगर डिक्रीज हुआ ऊपर का प्रेशर तो माउंटेन्स का रॉक विल इंक्रीज एंड वेदरिंग से दे विल फॉल डाउन. Does not increase or decrease the pressure, triggering landslides. Third, in the regions of roads or mountains, roads or railways, in the regions of roads or railways, there has to be proper drainage. There has to be proper drainage pattern. There has to be proper drainage pattern. Which will remove the excess rainwater draining from the mountainous region, which will remove the excess rainwater draining from the mountainous region, remove the excess rainwater draining from the mountainous region, draining from the mountainous region, and thus prevent soil flow, mud flow or landslide. Thus prevent soil flow, mud flow or landslide. Thus prevent soil flow, mud flow or landslide. You can draw this diagram if you want. What does this mean? कि हमेशा जो roads है उसके parallel there has to be proper drainage, and from inside the mountain it should be connected by pipe. So in case if there is a heavy rainfall up, rainwater will come and instead of flowing it on the road और उसके साथ गाड़ियाँ भी बह रही है, so better it goes into this. From here it will go and then it will fall down from the mountains, so that it does not affect the road. अगर हमने ऐसा नहीं किया तो ये रोड को लेके बाहर हो जाएगा, इसके ऊपर की गाड़ियाँ लेके बाहर हो जाएगा. This is an pipe, this is a technique which is done. Now next time when you go to the newly developed road, देखना इसमें, and because it is a ghat region, you go to the other side, आपको लगता है ये waterfall है. It is actually not a waterfall, it is a proper drainage, because rain water will come with great speed. So the choice is yours कि it is falling on the road, causing erosion, weathering of the roads, और गाड़ियाँ भी जा रही है, और it is going here. हाँ feasible है. What is the difference between why there is never a flood in New Bombay and why there is a flood always in Bombay? Bombay is a old city, so उसका जो pipes था जो Britishers ने लगाए थे, अब वो हाई टाइड के लेवल के नीचे है. न्यू बॉम्बे में ऑल द पाइप्स आर सो ग्रेट कि पूरा ड्रेन वो चेक किया. देयरफॉर देयर इज नेवर अ फ्लडिंग बिकॉज इट इज अ प्लांट सिटी. न्यू बॉम्बे. सिविल इंजीनियरिंग. ये हवा में नहीं लटक रहा है. डोंट गो बाय दिस डायग्राम. यहाँ से प्रॉपर पाइपलाइंस है कंक्रीट के, एंड ये इतने बड़े, ये तो डायग्राम में हमें ऐसे दिख रहा है. सो ये इट इज नॉट कि इट इज लाइंग इन द एयर. यू आर अ सिविल इंजीनियर. So this is one thing. The second thing what is being done and what was advised by each and everything is ये जो regions है frequent landslide के, because these are broken rocks, so do concretization. So this should be covered by concrete because concrete से at least you can prevent the smaller landslides, and उसके बाद iron का cage होना चाहिए. Iron nets are there. What will happen? You cannot stop the landslide, but because of iron nets which are there, you will stop the death and destruction here. And the small frequent. एक तो concretization करके you are plugging in the smaller gaps, and then the iron nets are there. Big iron nets are there which will stop the block from falling. So this was supposed to be done by 2002 all over India. But even today, आजकल थोड़ा उत्तराखंड में हो रहा है after that tragedy, but it was not done. Now इसके ऊपर एक there is a famous joke which distinguishes two kinds of Indian politicians. Generally, we know that southern politicians are more, at least you can say, somewhat more ethical as compared to the northern politicians. Corruption दोनों जगह है. Maybe I can say the origin of corruption is South India only rather than North India, but South India corruption is more institutionalized. वो आम आदमी को फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. करप्शन आप इसको कहते हो, गवर्नमेंट को पैसे देके पॉलिसी चेंज होगी हेल्थ की, यू विल नॉट इवन रियलाइज दैट कि हेल्थ की पॉलिसी चेंज हो गई. हेल्थ की पॉलिसी में ऐसा आया कि जेनरिक ड्रग के बदले बिकॉज ऑफ रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट नाउ रैनबैक्सी इज ओनली गोइंग टू सप्लाई द ड्रग्स टू गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स. दैट इज पॉलिसी चेंज. उससे आम आदमी को फर्क पड़ता है 10 रुपये दे दो सिग्नल तोड़ने से या 50 रुपये दे दो, एंड हमें लगता है वो बड़ा करप्शन है. दैट इज नॉट अ बिग करप्शन. So there is a famous joke. A politician from North India visits Southern Indian politician's house and is amazed to see the luxury जो इसका है, उसका गार्डन्स, उसका बड़ा बंगलो, उसके तो वो पूछता है ये सब कैसे, बिकॉज अवर बोथ एमपी का सैलरी है, इसका सैलरी सेम, so how will be living in that. वो कहता है उसको कि चलो मेरे साथ चलो. वो उसको घर के पास, घर के खिड़की के पास ले जाता है और दिखाता है कैन यू सी द ब्रिज. बोलता है यस. दैट 20%. तो बोलता है ओके. देन आफ्टर सम ईयर्स दिस साउथ इंडियन पॉलिटिशियन गोज टू दैट नॉर्थ इंडियन पॉलिटिशियंस प्लेस एंड ही इज अमेज्ड टू सी कि पहले तो कुछ नहीं था, अब तो मेरे से भी 5 times बिग एक्सेट्रा. सो व्हाट हैज हैपेंड हियर. सो ही आस्क्ड हिम द सेम क्वेश्चन. वो कहता है इट्स ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ यू, योर आइडिया. बोलता है हाउ. तो वो उसको फिर से खिड़की के पास ले जाता है. बोलता है कैन यू सी द ब्रिज. बोलता है नो. बोलता है 100%. So that is the basic difference between the north. There are no bridges only, there are no this thing only. So जो उत्तराखंड में होना चाहिए था, it is not occurring. That is the problem of UP, Bihar and this entire region. So institutionalized versus not institutionalized corruption. So coming back to this, once you go to Western Ghat region, आपको दिखेगा iron nets. You will see concretization has been done. And if you go to Uttarakhand, इसको बताना पड़ा कि tragedy में people can die, and then they started doing concretization. As per National Highway Development Policy, पहले Himalayan states का concretization होना चाहिए था, and then Western Ghats का. But हुआ उल्टा. I told you the reason. 20% and 100% is the reason here. So the next point is heavy retaining walls. Heavy retaining walls. Heavy retaining walls. Retaining walls. They are known as retaining walls. Heavy retaining walls made up of concrete, and covered with iron nets, should be installed, covered with iron nets should be installed in the regions of frequent landslides. In the regions of frequent landslides. In the regions of frequent landslides. Example has been done in Western Ghats. Example, Western Ghats. Has been done in Western Ghats. If you go by Mumbai-Pune Expressway, this has been done. If you go by Konkan Railway, this has been done. It saves lives because time देता है ट्रेन को या गाड़ी को पास होने के लिए, because suddenly that wall is not going to fall on us. Then it gives time and therefore government can come in, फिर से उसको stabilize कर सकते हैं. Because see, we have the technology कि हम slope stabilize कर सकते हैं. Next. Artificial landslides, artificial triggering of the landslides, artificial triggering of the landslides, artificial triggering of the landslides should be done, to reduce the intensity of big natural landslides, should be done to reduce the intensity of big natural landslides. Should be done to reduce the intensity of big natural landslides. See, we do not have this technology, but it is done in the developed nations. USA, etc. will create artificial landslides. I told you that it causes artificial earthquakes also. So हमारे यहाँ पे इतना आना बाकी है, because ये करने के लिए you should know the structural stability of the entire Himalayas. पता चला ही आपने किया यहाँ पे artificial landslide and उसके बाद there is a big natural landslide. So you should know the structural stability. For that we should have there are some equipments which will study, and then properly it is being done. And see, in the developed nations population ही नहीं है उस region में. So even if it fails, it will not cause death. India में if it fails, it will cause death and disaster. Next. फिर वो common points, afforestation, stopping overgrazing, stopping unscientific and improper storage of water, stopping unscientific and improper storage of water, and raising awareness among people to stabilize the slopes, through community involvement programs, such as social forestry, Government cannot do the forestry, so let the people come together and they will plant a forest. So we call this as an social forestry. Social forestry is the forestry by the people for the people. So social forestry program. Social forestry has two parts. वो अलग से topic, I am just introducing you to the social forestry. It has one agroforestry which is done on the agricultural lands. एक है social forestry जो government department करेगा but उसका रखवाली the people करेंगे. And third is urban forestry. ये जो जितने भी forest you see, trees जो which you see on the sides of the roads, especially Delhi, that is an urban forestry. So these are some of the programs. So this can be done, social forestry can be done. Don't use the word agroforestry and urban forestry in landslides. यहाँ पे it is social forestry. Fine with this? So this is the landslide disaster management. Next, I'll quickly give you the points. You can just note down. I will not exchange them. That is causes of landslides in the Western Ghats. Causes of landslides in the Western Ghats. Causes of landslides in the Western Ghats. First, very heavy rainfall. Very heavy rainfall, especially on the western side of the Western Ghats. Especially on the western side of the Western Ghats. Western side of the Western Ghats. Second, extremely steep slopes. Extremely steep slopes. Again on कौन सा side? Western side of the Western Ghats. On the western side. Third, origin of numerous swift but small, हम reverse नहीं लिखेंगे, हम we will write the word streams. Several streams will make one river, but we have seen in the parallel drainage, before they make a river, make a tributary, they end their life in sea. We have seen this in the parallel drainage pattern. Which causes, you should not write here V-shaped valley also, which causes weakening of the slopes, full stop. These rivers suddenly expand during the rainy season, causing flooding and landslides. Next point, this is totally new point. This is not seen in the that much extent in the Himalayas. Himalayas में सिर्फ cities के around हो रहा है. Western Ghats में, पूरे Western Ghats में हो रहा है. Unprecedented urbanization. which is causing sorry, which is accompanied by illegal flattening of the mountains, illegal flattening of the mountains, comma, building the houses on the mountain slopes, comma, afforestation, comma, sand mining, triggering the landslides, sand mining, stone mining, etc. So if this is a mountain and if this is the coast, this is how the western coast of India is. Unprecedented urbanization, चाहे वो बॉम्बे हो, चाहे वो ठाणे हो, चाहे वो मैंगलोर हो, or whether it is Kerala. It is true for all this. You will see यहाँ पे the buildings are coming on the slopes. Obviously there is a too much pressure on the slopes and it will cause landslides. Not only this, हम ये human animal conflict में भी करेंगे. That is, again, I'll take the example of the area where I come from. वहाँ पे बहुत common है कि the leopard comes and takes the child, and that too in the good societies. Why people now then complain what the government is doing? What government क्या कर सकती है? You are now going and staying in their area, so obviously that leopard को अब अंदर का तो prey base बचा नहीं है, so he will come to eat food in the human settlement. Human settlements have gone in their areas by clearing the forest, changing the rules, etc. It is not that leopard is coming in your area, that is you have gone into their area. I'll tell you a very best example is near my house there is a DFO ka house. DFO is a district forest officer. So some 3 years back इतना ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट हुआ, मुझे मे बी आई टेक इट एज अ जोक कि टाइगर ने उसको बताने के लिए ये किया होगा कि स्टॉप दैट, कंजर्व द फॉरेस्ट, कि DFO के हाउस में देयर, बिकॉज इट इज़ अ ओल्ड कॉलोनियल बंगलो, so there are some toilets which are outside also. So when the DFO came back in the night, he went outside for the nature's call. In his bathroom a tiger was sleeping. So DFO fainted there itself after looking at the tiger, district forest officer. Thankfully tiger ने उसको कुछ किया नहीं, tiger walked away क्योंकि वो शोर शराबा वो सब हुआ. But ये जोक भी बोल सकते हो कि DFO के घर के अंदर ही टाइगर्स हो रहा है. And this is what is there. Why? Shift, illegal timber cultivation, illegal timber export in the highland region. ऊपर जंगल ही नहीं बचे. So as a result of this, these animals, big cats which are there, they will come down. They come down in the search of cattle. Domestication, agriculture में cattle है. In the search of goat. And see, कोई भी ये जो big cat है, if you are in the crouched position, बैठे हुए position में, it is going to attack you, because they think you are similar to monkey, and monkey is their prey. वैसे human being is not their natural prey, but you will see most of the big cats will attack the human beings when they have gone outside for relieving themselves. And crouch position में, चलते हुए position में ऐसे बहुत कम बार हुआ है, you are walking down and पीछे से tiger ने आके attack किया है, but in the crouched position they will always attack you. So that is what is happening here. Fine with this? Let this all the points come in the answer depending upon what the answer is. Next. Deforestation. What I have, it has to be deforestation. In the this point I have given you, building the houses in the mountain slopes, deforestation has to be there, not afforestation. वो भी गलत है, वो लैंडस्लाइड से रिलेटेड नहीं है, वो लैंडस्लाइड से नहीं है, वो तो ह्यूमन बीइंग से रिलेटेड है। टी कोड प्लांटेशन इज़ वेरी रॉन्ग। वो इसलिए रॉन्ग है क्योंकि यू आर नॉट इमोशनली अटैच्ड टू द टी कोड, so that you do not have to write here. Forest will conserve the soil. Next point, with the increase in the road and railway traffic, with the increase in the road and railway traffic, government is focusing on the projects such as Sagar Mala. Government is focusing on the projects such as Sagar Mala. What is Sagar Mala project? Connecting all the ports in India through proper road network. अब सागर माला में क्या होगा? Again afforestation, again expansion of the roads, again more traffic, and with the connectivity what will occur? Urbanization is going to occur. So this is the point which we are talking about the current affairs. In future we should make sure that there is a sustainable development as well as development activities. So with the government focusing on the projects such as Sagar Mala, building new ports, there is bound to be a clash. There is bound to be a clash between environment and development. Between environment and development. Between environment and development. In such cases, planned urbanization, comma, sustainable development, and balanced regional development. Balanced regional development will help in conserving environment, as well as increasing the standard of living, full stop. Continue writing. India being a developing nation, with problems such as mass unemployment, high poverty, and increasing ecological disintegration. Why ecological disintegration? ये तो मैं जनरलाइज आंसर दे रहा हूँ, दो वी आर राइटिंग फॉर वेस्टर्न घाट्स. वेस्टर्न घाट्स इसलिए वी हैव टेकन सागर माला, बट एनीवेयर द एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी इज कोलैप्सिंग. So you will understand this all points when we'll start with soon with the climatology. Heat waves क्या है, लू क्या है, you know if you are from North India. लू के time temperature goes to 50 degrees Celsius. That is what we will call heat waves. But environmental disintegration is, if you, the IMD says, International Meteorological Department, United Nations Environment Program says, if India keeps on doing the same kind of global emissions and pollution, by 2030 to 2050, the temperature of Lu will be 75 degrees Celsius. अब बताओ 75 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे क्या लाइफ विल बी पॉसिबल हियर? So the same thing will be there. That is why I have said disintegration. Kerala floods, Mumbai floods. Madhav Gadgil is saying कि Mumbai and Goa, Maharashtra and Goa will have same disaster as Kerala. You must have read this news item. So therefore, you have to remember ecological disintegration. With increasing ecological disintegration, we as a nation need, same statement, we as a nation need development along with the environment, and not development versus the environment. Development versus the environment. Understanding this statement? That is, हमारा focus should be development of environment, and that is, we are a very poor country. See, balanced regional development इसलिए हमने include किया इसमें, because balanced regional development is not there, therefore Indian cities are collapsing. Why there is so much urban traffic? Why there are so many slums in each and every Indian cities? Because our hinterlands, जो पीछे का regions है, they are not backward. Otherwise, who likes to live his own state or place and come and settle in some other city? But there is no job opportunity, there is no educational opportunity, there is no growth opportunity, and therefore सारे आ रहे इधर मुंबई, दिल्ली, और agriculture laborers है तो पंजाब, हरियाणा. So this is, as a result of this, the cities are growing at a greater pace. Balanced regional development की ज़रूरत है. You cannot just focus on this. Government comes with SEZ का program to cause balanced regional development. होता वही है. SEZ is successful in Andhra and Maharashtra and Gujarat. बाकी सब जगह SEZ is fail. तो गवर्नमेंट को तो नहीं चाहिए था कि मुंबई के पास SEZ बने, पर बना बॉम्बे के पास. We will do this in SEZ. बाकी सब जगह SEZ is failed. Only these 3 states are there where SEZ is more or less successful. Again, it has caused imbalanced growth. क्या हो रहा है? Only these states are growing and the other states are remaining stagnant. So this is there. Now, therefore, we cannot afford. हमें चाहिए development, but development should not come at a cost कि development किया earthquakes. Development हुआ दिल्ली जैसा lung cancer और air pollution. Development किया urban floods, मुंबई और चेन्नई, हर साल urban floods. We require, in countries like India, there should not be development or environment. There has to be development and environment, जो यूरोप में होता है, जिसको वो कहते हैं sustainable development. You require both development and environment. See, because we are a developing nation, we have a very limited thinking pattern. हमारे लिए thinking pattern क्या है? बचपन से get a good education, get a job, marry, settle down. फिर give them to the same children. But you never think of environment as a for the cultural development. ये अगर मैं बातें भी कहूँगा तो वो थोड़ा you will not like it also. So, but environment has all these things. That is, you should note. ये जो line है, ये हमें फिर से लगेगी. आज मुझे याद थी इसलिए I have dictated, because हमारे syllabus में है man versus animal conflict. हमारे syllabus में है, though not in geography exact, economics में sustainable development and environment versus development. So you should remember this lines and make sure that some of the lines which are very good, you have a separate notebook. It can be used in essay, it can be used in any of this thing here. So with the completion of these topics, we'll complete our geomorphology. So maximum 2 or 3 lectures here. So these are the topics which are mostly in the preliminary examination. Recently they have even stopped asking this part in the preliminary examination, ये 3, but still we should be prepared क्योंकि trend कभी भी change हो सकता है. But don't focus too much on this part. Don't worry too much about this part. एक दो बार revise करो, questions direct आएंगे. U-shaped topography is associated with what? V-shaped is associated with what? Yardangs and Zugens are associated with what? Where you will, what is an karst topography? Mains के question नहीं आएंगे, because this, if you ask mains का question, फिर optional and GS में कोई फर्क नहीं बचेगा. This is an थोड़ा high level का topic that is associated with generally optional only. But यहाँ पे obviously river landforms they will ask. I guess we have done drainage pattern, drainage system. Mains में they will specifically ask you either interlinking of the rivers, which will be doing as a separate during Indian geography, because interlinking of the rivers का भी idea इससे related है. That is an application and this is the theory. And यहाँ पे river capture and river rejuvenation. Now the smallest topic out of this is karst. We'll do erosion later on, but we'll start with the karst topography. Now before we do fluvial landforms, you just remember what is erosion. Erosion involves transportation, deposition. That is, the erosion involves both transportation and deposition. What is the difference between weathering and erosion? Weathering does not involve transportation. In situ and ex situ. So I guess we have written this definition. The next thing about erosion and erosion is, erosion में there will be different agents. So water, if there is an agent, landform का shape अलग होगा, because water is having a different property. When wind is an agent of erosion, landform का shape will be slightly different. Understanding this? So as a result of this, we have different topographies or different landforms. I guess we have done weathering, physical weathering, etc. We have done the rocks. So the shapes will be different. So out of all this, most difficult is glacial and the easiest is karst. Now when you do the glacial topography, इसका एक मेंस का टॉपिक है जो हम बाद में करेंगे while doing the environment, that is desertification. Pollution of river is pure energy. Desertification is, what is desertification? Any idea? It is increase in the area of deserts. That is, Thar desert, which should be in Rajasthan, it is now going into Punjab and Haryana. Every year, Punjab is losing 8,000 hectares of fertile land to deserts, and it has something to do with afforestation. That is the deforestation. Deforestation, that is the desertification. Remember one general rule: if the speed is greater, more erosion. If the speed is lesser, there will be deposition. So first we will do the smallest, that is the karst topography. Hardly 10 minutes for the karst topography. If you want to read extra, these are the chapters you can read from GC Leong, but बहुत ही fast reading. Exam oriented will be notes only, more than notes के बाहर से नहीं. But if you want to read something extra कि पूरा idea लेना है, you can go through the respective chapters from the GC Leong. But they are basically bit tougher. Don't focus on the examples which are given in the GC Leong. So karst topography, the topography which develops, the topography which develops. In the regions which are rich in limestone, in the regions which are rich in limestone rocks. Limestone is an extremely weak rock. limestone is an extremely weak rock. Limestone is an extremely weak rock. When exposed to water. When exposed to water. When exposed to water. You know this why? Because limestone will react with water. It will form carbonic acid and chemical weathering ज़्यादा होगा. We have done this in the carbonation. No need of this diagram. This is just for your understanding. Now, in this diagram we have shown कि ऊपर का rock is limestone, therefore it is a well jointed rock, and नीचे there can be igneous, metamorphic or any of the rocks. Now, what is this karst topography? जहाँ पे rivers are flowing in the regions of limestone rocks, because the limestone rock is easily eroded or weathered both. यहाँ का topography is very very different. यहाँ का landform is very different as compared to the landforms of the other regions. Now, to understand यहाँ का landforms, I am asking, has anyone from this class visited Vaishno Devi region? So do you find any river in the Vaishno Devi? Jammu Tawi दिखती है? कहाँ पे? That is in Vaishno Devi. I am not asking. Jammu Tawi वैसे नीचे तो दिख ही जाएगी. In Jammu, in Vaishno Devi region. Do you see Ban Ganga? Have you ever seen water in that? It is totally dry. पहले भी नहीं था. You must have visited in the rainy season. In the rainy season you must have visited, or you don't remember कौन से season में. Now this is one property. Why I am asking you? Because this is one property. One property is, see, if there is water here, suppose if this is one water which is flowing. Now because it is a region which is extremely prone to the water erosion, यहाँ पे the rivers in this region will erode the limestone rocks, and after eroding the limestone rock they will make holes जहाँ से the water will start flowing underground. यहाँ से the water will start flowing underground. And इसीलिए the first property of a limestone region is absence of rivers, that is dry river valleys. No need of writing. Now why is this? Because यहाँ से the river has flown, और कोई भी जो पानी है, maybe rain water etc., it is flowing underground. So river जो channel है, it is dry except during the rainy season. Only during the rainy season when the water का level increases, it will be seen. Now after this hole which is formed in the limestone topography, I will show you again with the help of the PPTs, और ये diagram भी बनाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है unless if you. So this hole is known as sinkhole. You know why sinkhole? क्योंकि किचन में पानी कहाँ से निकल रहा है? Sink में से. So यहाँ पे पानी कहाँ से निकल रहा है? It is a sinkhole from where the surface water disappears. Now this sinkholes, ऐसे in the limestone topography there are numerous such sinkholes formed, because accumulated water or the river water or the rain water all may disappear through this sinkholes. Getting this? So यहाँ से all this water is disappearing. Now when the numerous sinkholes are formed in this region, if the sinkholes are very nearby, can they join each other? And because of the joining each other, can they become bigger? Right? So such sinkholes which become bigger in size are known as doline. Such sinkholes which become bigger in size are known as dolines. अब in this region there will be numerous such dolines which will be formed. देखो सिर्फ नाम का फर्क है, बाकी कुछ नहीं है. Now they are saying कि even numerous dolines may join together, and they may form a very big hole, and this big hole is known as uvalas. Up they are saying numerous such uvalas may join together and they may form a very big hole through which the rivers may disappear. But यहाँ पे faulting is also necessary and they will call this as polges. We call this as polge. So बहुत easy है. Sinkhole, duala, polge and dolines. Fine with this? We'll write all this later on. First understand. Through this sinkholes, water disappears and water generally goes through the, we have seen generally water will go through the joints, and this is how maybe the water is flowing in this region. It can take any of the path. And now, because limestone is both permeable as well as porous, so but नीचे का if it is igneous rock, it is Archean rock, keep the bag and come. So if it is the Archean rock or the igneous rock, so in this water cannot go and therefore water यहाँ से फिर बाहर चला आएगा. So Vaishno Devi is limestone and इसलिए नदी दिखती नहीं है, but Jammu Tawi becomes a mighty river when it comes down after Katra in Jammu region. Understanding? Ban Ganga जो इसकी tributary है. Now in this region, if this is how the water is flowing, over the period of time, this entire area अंदर से carbonation होके destroy हो जाएगा. And because the entire area destroy हो जाएगा, what we see in this karst topography wala region is this entire area is destroyed, and as a result, this area becomes converted into caves. So entire this area is very common caves. So Vaishno Devi का that वहाँ पे caves बहुत common है. In fact, you go to the main temple, which is nothing but an example of an cave, and in this caves, it is very very common that water is dripping from the top because ऊपर से पानी is going. Now, but this water is not the normal water. This water is not the normal water. It has dissolved calcium carbonate in it. So when the water is flowing, dripping, calcium carbonate sticks to the ceiling. And पानी नीचे गिर जाता है. पानी तो बह जाता है, calcium carbonate becomes dry over the period of time. अगर पानी का flow change हो गया, and when they become dry, they grow into numerous projections which grow from the ceiling, and we will call this projections which are growing from the ceiling as stalactites. That is, are you understanding this? Calcium carbonate will stick to the ceiling, pani tapkega, calcium carbonate will grow in size, and therefore we will find numerous such projections which are growing from the ceiling. This will grow over the period of time. You see an example abhi in the main cave, because of concretization they have developed this, and ye sare stalactites unhone hata diye. But still this is present in one cave which is known as Earth Kuwari ka Gufa, where you go inside and आपके ऊपर पानी गिरेगा ही, and आप भीग के आओगे ही, because water is going to continuously drip. Now some of this region, water drips, कुछ पानी नीचे भी गिरेगा, and some calcium carbonate will stay on the ground. So if the water keeps on continuously dripping, this calcium carbonate ka projections will also grow from the ground, and you find some of the calcium carbonate ka projections which are going from the ground becoming bigger, and you will call this projection as stalagmites. Very easy to remember. जिसमें G है, it is growing from the ground. जिसमें C है, it is growing from the ceiling. यूज दिस न्यूमोनिक्स. स्पेलिंग बिलिंग याद रखने की ज़रूरत नहीं, ये पीटी का ही है. सो जिसमें सी आएगा दैट इज़ फ्रॉम द सीलिंग, जिसमें जी आएगा दैट इज़ फ्रॉम द ग्राउंड. Sometimes they become so big, they may touch each other, and you will call this as limestone pillars. So koi bhi region in the karst topography will have caves, will have pillars, will have water dripping, and then baki ka aspect is of faith. In the Vaishno Devi wala region, see why faith I am saying, because people say कि जब तक आप गिले होके नहीं आओगे नीचे से in अर्धकुंवारी का गुफा, you cannot go up. When you go inside, पूरा ये limestone rock है जो 3 पिंडिया है, even they are made up of limestone, and therefore बाकी के region में in the comparison of other rocks they shine a lot, whitish color है. That is an aspect of faith. I am just telling you the geographical aspect here. So we'll continue. This entirely is the limestone topography. This is an karst topography. Thank you. Same. Anywhere in the world,